Good evening, my friends. This is VJ Franz K, and here we are looking at the new iElectribe R that runs on iPhone. Now, we've seen it previously in a version designed for the iPad, but this is the new, more compact version. And also, it looks like the classic Electribe R Mark I, which this is right here. So, I heard about it last night in a message from my friend while I was at the club. I read that message, of course, on the screen of my iPhone 4S here. And that is the first model that it runs. I'm going to upgrade soon. But it runs fine on the 4S if you have that. So, thought I would take a first look at it. We'll go into more depth later on, because this is an interesting program that you'll want to get into and use. I have the stylus here, because the buttons are kind of small. Still accessible. There's the cross mod. So there's the mute. So basically, starting from zero, what is the Electribe R? Alright, it was a drum machine that arrived in 1999, I believe, by Korg, a landmark device for the electronica, as we called it at that time, style, and now it's ready to make EDM, getting a lot of different type of sounds here, and that's because this is a drum synthesizer. It's not just a drum sampler or drum machine. So you can adjust the various parameters of each part, as we're calling them. Loading up some other patterns I've made here. Here's one from my band that I'm in, Ironwise. I play the drums. Now you notice this is a pattern in 12, so it doesn't use all 16 parts. Check out Ironwise on Bandcamp, of course. We've got one album complete and we're working on another. But notice that the drum is actually synthesized with a synthesizer note, so you adjust it in various ways to create or alter the sound. And iElectribe for the iPhone has more features on it than the original device did. There are 4 waveforms here instead of just 2, and there are also more effect types that you can use, plus the other various niceties on the iPhone. One of my favorite functions is, here, we'll hit the shift button. Buttons are kind of small because it's on the iPhone screen, so I'm going to use the Flutter Pad. Sort of like a cross between a chaos pad and circuit bending. But because sliding it from here to here adds more drum hits. And sliding it from bottom to top changes the synth parameters of different parts of it. So that's interesting, anyway. There's a lot of cool patterns here. I'm just going to play you things that I've just made, and then we'll make a pattern from scratch. Here's a kind of hardcore one. let's see, drum harsh FM. Check that sort of IDM type distortion there. Yeah, speaking of IDM, some of the factory patterns here are actually made by Richard Devine, who's a really cool guy, and he's designed synth features for a lot of software and hardware devices, so great to see him here, and you know, all-star cast of other people as well. I would like to contribute some patterns to one of these someday. See, I can get some nice IDM mutations using the Flutter Pad here. I would like to see step jump, like on the new Electribes and on the Volcas. That would be nice. I've gotten so used to using step jump now I miss it that it's not here, but perhaps that can be added in an update. So anyway, I'm modulating this distortion here. It's bit crush distortion. Can change the effect parameters. Let's see, I'll load something else. Sort of an experimental pattern here. Now, a classic thing about these Electribes was always that there was one effect here, which is the delay. And on the software, you can change what effect that you have as the master effect, and you can also select whether or not each part goes through that master effect. In this case, it's a tempo sync echo, which can be very interesting. Like, it's in this beat, it's sort of a combination of a 4/4 beat with the sound of a 3/4 beat or triplets or something, because of the way the echoes were working. So you have two kinds of echo or delay. One which is not tempo synced, and so it's very short. If you want, you can record, you can actually record motion sequences. Anyway, I'm going to show you making a pattern from zero, and then we'll be done with this first look, but I'll come back later with more time. Just wanted to show you this. And this is a direct line recording, so you can hear exactly what it sounds like. And it does feature an export audio file pattern, so you can use it with other apps that have audio copy, or you can use it with your desktop computer to make tracks. Anyway, so I'm going to go into here. I'm going to select, see, I've already done 7 patterns, just messing around. This is the way you start, with just kick drums. So basically, the basic pattern, it's sort of a 808, 909 sounding type of thing, but it's a very versatile device. You can get all sorts of things that, you know, don't sound like any XOX sequencer that you are used to. So, or one thing is that it's easy to get lost and forget where you are on the parameters. Yes, it is a lot more difficult to talk about this while you're doing it. Basically, this is the starting waveform, and you get 4 choices, and then this is a modulation section. You know, a lot of this sounds like classic synth pop. you know, from the 1980s or the very late 70s. But if you think about it, the sounds of EDM right now are very much based on the drum machines that came out at that time. There's the clap sound. Now these four sounds, these are samples. If I want, I engage the record here. Sort of absent-mindedly messing around with things here. Take those out. Here's a pro tip for you. The crash is one of the most... You don't want to trigger it accidentally, so you might want to just turn down the volume of the crash so it doesn't come up randomly. So there's my hats. I have an open hat, or I have closed hats and open hat. And they share one voice, so they cancel each other out. Now that sounds like a tom sound at the beginning here. Can get some interesting. This is the most important knob here. This is the pitch. Now, we're going to change the main tempo here. We have a slider, or we can slide it down to 20 beats a minute, or go up to 600 beats a minute. Thank you, Korg, for allowing us to go up to 600 beats a minute. If you want. It's fun. Or I can enter in a precise number. Say, we're going 130 beats a minute. Return, and there it is. I can adjust my swing. I can also change the last step. Now normally this is 16, but changing it to shorter values is useful in making certain types of beats, or doing like a fill or something like that. And then length is how many bars you get. You can have 1 to 4 bars. So now I'm going to choose an effect to use. It's interesting sort of delay there. Now I'm going to press the effects button, and I can choose which of my parts to have affected by that effect. So often we will not run the main kick drum through the effects. That sounds kind of good. So, before I mess with things, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Go save, and then I'll just tap the pattern I want to save it into. Save as, yes. YT demo. Franz. Yes, my name is Franz. It's not VJ. VJ is my title. I'm a video jockey, you see. VJ. So we save it. Now I can go back and save over that if I want to change other things. But I have it saved, so it's... Notice all along how Yep, you can mess around and do weird stuff with it if you want. Notice here we also have the low boost amount. It's good if you turn that up for the kick drums, obviously, or anything that uses bass, and you turn it down for things that bass is not important for. So, now it's interesting because, yes, you can accidentally get a lot of really weird sounds out of there. So you got to learn what you're doing. But at the same time, it gives you the flexibility to do a huge amount of stuff. And I'd rather have that flexibility than not have it, than be confined to a narrow range of sounds that you have to use for everything. So that's cool. Anyway. Now that I have my pattern saved, I can experiment with different other features. Yes, they have the talk mod. Sounds kind of like a robot voice or something. Let's see. I'll go ahead and do one more, and then we'll be done. But I just wanted to give you a quick first look at this because I know it's going to be big, like all of the new Korg drum machine and other programs. Anyway, hopefully they will allow us to use iElectribe as a plugin for Gadget, because Gadget is a really excellent program for the iPad. And you know, you don't always have to program 4 on the floor. Let's go ahead and make another. Show you how to use the motion sequences here. Yes. Using that voice mod. It's an unusual sound, and we don't have to engage it for every part of the go back. Let's see. That shift key changes what these other buttons do. So we're not going to put the kick drum through that effect. I'm going to change that tapping noise. Something less annoying. Remember, this knob is the pitch. Then these control the modulation of that pitch. And, you know, you can use these 4 synth parts to make kick drums, to make snares, to make crashing noises, to make blips, to make synth notes, anything your imagination can consider and you can figure out how to use. You want to have some practice. Look at the presets. It'll give you all kinds of ideas, even though I know you'll just want to start and create your own things. And they also have templates, which have examples in various styles, everything from EDM to electro hip-hop, trap, and they even have some experimental patterns. Thank you, Richard Devine, for including those, because obviously you can make very poppy things with this, or you can make very, very experimental things with this if you want. You know, it doesn't even have to be It's a drum machine, but it doesn't even have to make the sound of drums. It could be completely ambient or unusual sounds. Like there's that crash noise. What happens if we take that crash and then modulate it in a weird way? We're also sending it through the voice mod effect. Perhaps I want to take the tempo of this whole sequence and turn it way down. A lot of very strange possibilities. Anyway, why don't you all pick up this app in celebration of the arrival of it? It's on sale. And make beats with your iPhone. It does sound decent with the small speaker, but of course it sounds a lot better if you have a line out. And that's why I'm doing this all in one take for you, just to get this out to the internet, and we'll do a more detailed review later on. Anyway, this has been VJ Franz K playing the new iElectribe for iPhone. It's excellent. Please subscribe to me here on YouTube, and I have other accounts, other websites, VJ Franz K. Instagram, you can see some of my artwork there. See the band, Ironwise. I'm the drum machinist there. I play percussion section. You can do some interesting things, see? Just absent-mindedly adjusting the parameters, and I suggest that you do this just to get kind of a feel for the way the instrument operates. It is an instrument. It's not just a drum machine that you leave and play in the background. When I say a drum machinist, that is a musician who plays a drum machine as an instrument, and you can certainly do that with this software device. Let's see. Gonna go ahead and save this. Yeah, remember to always save your work. Don't change patterns by accident, and then edgy here. Nice. Save it. That's good. Press my shift. Yeah, you're going to want to use your magnifying glass on here. Let's see. Use the flutter feature to change up the other things. VJ Franz K signing out for now, and I'll be back with more iElectribe for iPhone. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.